I'm not sure that it's a coronavirus crisis, but I think the crisis came about because of governments' responses to the crisis, and they used the coronavirus to essentially make the government stronger. But I don't think that we will get back to the trend line we were at before. In other words, if you look at the airline traffic in the world, I think we were at 100. We dropped to below 10. I think we'll recover to maybe 70, 80, but I don't think we'll go back to 100. Same for hotels, same for casinos. Tell me, when did the Japanese stock market return to the pre-crisis 1989 level? 1989 is 30 years ago. And today the market in Japan is about half as high as it was at the time. Sometimes things don't recover. When will Sears Roebuck, when will JCPenney return to the previous level? Never. I believe when they started with QE1 in December 2008, I said this is not QE1. This is QE infinity. This is QE forever. Now they started with support packages to support the population. It's once you print money like the US did, it's very difficult and only possible with huge pain to stop. Korea stopped it. As you know, we had the Asian crisis, and then the Korean people in 97, 98, they said, okay, we have to tighten our belt, and they solved the problem. It will lead to a new crisis, we don't know, right away or in 5 years, but it will lead to a new crisis. And if it doesn't lead to a new crisis, the huge debt overhang we have, not only for government debt, also private sector debts, student loans, and so forth and so on. I think that Mr. Trump has a good chance to be re-elected. I personally, I'm not American, so I cannot vote. But if I were an American, I would not be happy to vote for Mr. Trump, and I would not be happy to vote for Mr. Biden. I think one is not very intelligent, and the other one, Biden, is elderly and seems to have some problems in remembering things. Trump is not particularly desirable because he's very impulsive and he doesn't think very deeply. In the end, whether you vote for Biden or for Trump, the end result will not be that different because Mr. Trump is not a conservative Republican. He's a money printer. He likes debt. He is happy to borrow money, regardless, Biden or Trump. Both the Republican and the Democrats, they don't seem to care about spending money. The Democrats spend it more on handing money to people. Emerging economies, stock markets, by and large, they peaked out in 2015. So they have had a more than 4 years bear market. They have almost 5 years bear market. And many emerging markets, as a result, are relatively inexpensive compared to the US. Now, the commodity markets, as you know, are also quite depressed. In other words, prices of industrial metals, nickel, copper, and so forth, are quite depressed. Also, the oil price became very depressed Usually, emerging economies, they correlate with commodity prices. If I assume that sooner or later, we don't know whether in 6 months or in 3 years, but at some point the global economy will recover. When it happens, this global economic recovery, I think emerging markets will outperform the US. But that will also coincide with the US dollar becoming weaker.